7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Manchester United may not have reached the promised land just yet, but I tell you what, we're heading in the right direction. How are we all doing? Sam here, United People's TV, and I think this is going to be a stream that we all enjoyed this morning. What a game that was last night for this current Manchester United team, for where we are under Erik ten Hag. And 3 days before a cup final, we've gone and knocked out the La Liga leaders. We've gone and knocked out probably the favourites of this competition. And we've done it after we came from 1-0 down on a wonderful night at Old Trafford. How are we doing, everyone? Sam here, United People's TV, here with the morning live show. And it's going to be an absolute cracker today. It really, really is. I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to run through all the reaction to that game last night. Erik ten Hag's comments, fan reaction, players' reaction, photos, conversations around Fred, Antony, Garnacho, Varane, Casemiro. So many players that we can have full-on conversations about. And then we'll talk about the preview. We'll speak about the cup final we've got coming up in 3 days. What a week this is for Manchester United. And we did it in the right way there. Al, you said it right there, man. Mint. Ace. Whatever word you want to use to describe that. And Vicky, by the way, I was going to give you a shout out later. I'll give that shout out now. I've got a little special Varane section coming up later on. Don't you worry about that. But who's down there in the comments? Good morning to what is the greatest community on YouTube ever. It really is. Gungshi, good morning to you. Charlie. Josh, I can see you there. T. Ines, I've got 7 Samurai. Andy, John, Nathan, Clement, the Ferocious Dudley. Who's on Facebook? We've got Don Ronaldo. Not that Ronaldo. Or maybe. We've got Ivan Bubba. We've got Benny John. We've got Dozy, Kevin O'Hogan. Good morning to everybody. All right. That's what I will say. What I will say to kick start this show is because we've switched to 2 podcasts a week. We've got a brand new podcast that went out this morning. It's quite tough putting out all this content, but it's amazing. I love doing it. I'm sure you. I like to think you enjoy it. It's me and Neil last night, and Bal and Matt and Alex are all at the game, sent in their comments. Hey, I'd like you to listen to the podcast. If you would, please go in there and please leave a 5-star review on Spotify and on Apple. I know I say it every time, but it makes such a difference. As a community, you can help the podcast. That's the way that the podcast climbs. That's the way that the podcast, I suppose, gets more popular by you showing some love to it. And it was, oh man, it was just wonderful last night, was it? Where do you start? Where would you start last night? I would start here by what I said about Erik ten Hag. I said this morning. I said, good morning to the best manager we could possibly have asked for. Finally, our football team is in good hands again. We found him. We've got him. United are headed back to the top, and the journey is only just getting started. And it's all because of this man right there. Shout out to Xavi in the corner. Sod Xavi. Let me just go full screen on Erik. Don't need to see Xavi there. Erik ten Hag, man. I think it was yesterday. No, yesterday, but I don't know when I first. You can let me know in the comments, right? After what game did you first let yourself think, you know what? I think United might be back. It's not a case of beating Barcelona in the Europa League all of a sudden means United are back. But I went into that game yesterday with the sort of confidence as a United fan in a game of that scale that I don't think I've done in a long time. When I went into the game against City at Old Trafford, I really was hoping for that performance, right? But I didn't know whether or not it was going to come or not. And it did, obviously. But going into that game, even when we went 1-0 down to a penalty, I just didn't feel that this team was going to collapse. I knew at half-time that we were going to come out and be a different team. Jonathan down there, I have said that. I've maintained that. And that second half against Barcelona was pretty much a carbon copy of that Spurs game. Fred coming up with the important goal. Fred was the man who really inspired it and led it with that aggressive press from the front. Honestly, people, I don't understand anybody that Fred is very good in a specific role. in this Manchester United team. He's genuinely one of the best at it in the world. I really do think so. 7 Samurai, mate, that was crazy yesterday. I didn't know what to do. I say it, I constantly thank the community. I constantly thank the generosity of everyone. And I'll constantly remind you all, you're helping build this to something bigger. That's why we're now doing 2 podcasts a week. I'm going to bring on a social media manager now that I can, because you're allowing me to do that. So from the bottom of my heart, yesterday, let's not go crazy again today, man. I did like this, right? Nick, good point. Ten Hag calling Fred a mosquito. I'll speak about Fred in a little bit later in the show, but just everywhere you look in this team, whether it's defense, whether it's midfield, whether it's in attack, they're all completely together. And did you see Paul Scholes on Instagram this morning? Let me pull this up on screen. One sec. Bob, man, down there. Look, Bob, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Gifting 5 memberships, his community. Honestly, I will say this. Like yesterday, can I just take 1 second, please, to rewind to what happened yesterday? It was crazy. The amount of memberships you gifted, unbelievable. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to make it clear that if you just drop a like on the video, if you send in 50 memberships as a gift, whatever you can do within your own means, it means the world to me. It means the world to the community. So whatever you can do, no matter how small or how grand the gesture is, all of it helps. So thank you so much to everyone. It really, I think that was a super chat there. I don't want to miss it. Jordan, brilliant result last night. Bravo to Ten Hag. Jordan, I'm really sad that I wasn't there. Bao, gave my ticket to Bao simply because it's just a bit too busy with work at this moment in time. But I can't wait for the game on Sunday, and I'm going to that. J2E, you're saying, hi, Sam, did you see that clip of Casemiro during the scuffle? That was the highlight of the night. I'm going to be speaking about that later in the show, man. Oh, that was a cracker. But look, this is what Paul Scholes said on Instagram. Talk of a quadruple firmly tongue-in-cheek. I'd snap your hand off for 1 or 2 trophies this season. And we finally have a manager who gets Manchester United. Fast and furious, not possession-based, no parking the bus or buses, and taking no shit from anyone. Remember, absolutely nothing achieved yet. Oh, and good to see my 2 favorite players scoring big goals last night. And I will be speaking, as I said, I could do individual videos on so many of these players, and I think that's such a compliment to this team. And that's what United are now. We're a genuine team. We're not Moments FC anymore, are we? We're not reliant on an individual. You might say that we're reliant on an individual. Rashford didn't score last night, and we knocked Barcelona out after coming from 1-0 down. This team isn't reliant on Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford might be the talisman up front, but even when Marcus Rashford, and I'll speak about him and the injury concerns ahead of the final, even when I think he looked a little bit faded yesterday. I'm not surprised. How we've done this at this stage in his tenure, in the first season, 7 months in, with this squad, with games every 3 days, I don't understand it. It doesn't really make logical sense, but it's happening, and it's all happening because this man is in charge. Man, United have got so much wrong over these 10 years, but thank the Lord that we chose Ten Hag over Poch, because it could have gone the other way. It really, really could have gone the other way. 7. Jeez, man, you've done it again. I've only just seen. Mate, you're seriously, man. This community is out of this world. 7 Samurai, you need to hit me up on Telegram. Have you got any ideas of how we can take this? Anybody, hit me up on Telegram. Not just any. I want this community. This community, it feels like it needs more, and I want to give more. I might actually be bringing on a community manager as well. I thought about that yesterday. This community deserves more focus. So I'll speak about that a little bit later in the show. But, mate, you just gifted 50 again, and Nathan, you've gifted 10, man. And Jay, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. You've gifted 10 as well. Just all of you. I can't thank you enough. I really genuinely can't thank you enough. To see the organic growth of all of this, and to see United, it's because United are coming out of the shadows. I said it yesterday in my match reaction, we've spent years being the whipping boys, haven't we? Everyone's laughed at us. Shoes on the other foot now, and we're about to get new owners. We're about to become a problem. Fatty, you're saying Brazilian masterclass, and it was Antony and Fred. Garlic Bread Man, you're saying I saw rival fans saying they're having bad gut feelings about us, and it does feel good, man. It feels incredible. As I said, for everything that we've had to deal with over these last, it's a long old time. The last few years have been a living nightmare as far as football goes for United fans. We've had to watch Liverpool and City just fight it out at the top of the Premier League for like 4 or 5 years. And we've had to be the passengers. And we got pumped last season, 9-0 by Liverpool in aggregate. It's amazing how much that's flipped in such a short space of time. Football is cyclical. And we are at the beginning of a very, very exciting cycle. I'll tell you that. Ten Hag speaking after the game, this is what he said. And this in itself is just a perfect quote. I like dynamic football. I don't want boring football. I like football that entertains the people. That is playing with speed. And that is what Manchester United did in that second half, right? I don't really know. I'll be completely honest, right? I don't particularly know why Manchester United, or why Erik ten Hag, sorry. You let me know in the comments, right? What do you think his tactical decision was to play Weghorst in the number 9 role and Rashford out left? Why do you think he chose to do that? Because it was, we weren't going to be able to play with the same press. Do you think that Ten Hag was hoping, or not hoping, but aiming to sort of get through that first half and then just crank it up to level 100 in that second half? Do you reckon he was always going to do that? Why do you think that he started with Weghorst up front? Because, it didn't work. And to Ten Hag's credit, and this is something we absolutely have to say, right? And he's done it so much this season. Ten Hag's ability to change a game, flick the switch in game, he's done it so often this season. I don't think there's any manager, any team in Europe's top 5 leagues who have had more game-changing substitutions and goals and assists than Manchester United. And last night, it was subs that flicked the switch again. I'm going to go down here and see what you're saying. You think that he wanted Rashford up against Koundé again. Ben, you're saying to press the slow defenders to allow Rashford to be one-on-one. You think again. And that didn't really work. Rashford was quite isolated, didn't he? Wasn't he? Brendan, you're saying it was hopefully a distraction to switch up their defensive game. Thanks for Super Chat, Chris. There's a comment from Tina saying three finals this season can be played. Man, we can all the pots. Absolutely all the pots. Had an argument with Neil on the podcast about calling them pots. I like calling them pots. You're allowed to call trophies pots? I think you can call it pots. Mate, I think there's some more gifted memberships down there. I can't miss these, man. Look at the 2 proper OGs of the channel. The original instigators. Gungshi and Alex. 10 each. Honestly, as I said yesterday, I really have just like ran out of ways to describe how good this community is. And I really want all of you to help me take this community upwards and further. How can we make it better? What is it that we're not doing that we can do? All this generosity, what can we do to maybe give back to something? It's something I'm acutely aware of, and it's something I am taking into consideration. But all of you, absolutely amazing. Jonathan, no, it's trophies, not pots. Sod it. I'm going to call it pots. I always call it pots. All the pots. Every single pot. Something I think, right? How good must Ten Hag's halftime team talks be, right? How good must they be? This is what Lisandro Martinez said after the game. If I tell you what Ten Hag said, I can't say it on camera. He challenged us. He challenged us because we didn't look like a team. And what we've been doing in the first half, not with the energy and fighting. And it's he must just be inspired. Like, he must be inspiring as a manager at halftime. B, he must have that authority and that respected authority, because you can have someone in a position of authority who's shouting at you and you're like, well, I'm not going to listen to you. Everyone seems to listen. Everyone also seems to completely understand what he's asking for. And I think that's a big thing. Or you're asking down there saying, do you think any boots are thrown? maybe that's why Rashford is feeling a bit, got a boot straight to the face. He didn't get a boot to the face. That's pure speculation. But he obviously, I think that's probably one of the big takeaways I would say, is that there must be a real clarity. There must be a real clarity as to what Ten Hag is saying, that these players are just understanding it and they can replicate it on the pitch. because the game flipped in that second half. And let's start talking about individuals now. Matt, you're Sal. Sorry, let's start talking about individuals now. And Matt, you're saying there is just something about him that makes you want to listen. Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. Yesterday, I'm not sure if you sort of felt the same, but if Ten Hag was like, you know, Ten Hag's he's normally quite a reserved character, isn't he? He's quite stern. That's his exterior is stern. Yesterday, he was like, yeah, that's the biggest win we've had. He was buzzing around the place. He was having a great time. And so were all of the players, man. Look, there's so many good photos from that game yesterday. Ten Hag saying about the team, he goes, I think we've got great personalities in the team. Rafa, Martinez, Casemiro, even with setbacks, they move on. They want to get the result. And if you believe in that, you have to go on, even when you concede a cheap penalty. And it was a very cheap penalty, all right? Any team who gets that penalty given against them, you're angry. I would say 9 times out of 10, that penalty doesn't get given. Is there contact? I mean, yes, there's contact, but come on. Come on. And I was in that first half, I was like, oh, please don't be one of those European nights where we're talking about the referee after it. Please. And thankfully, it wasn't. And this team, there are so many people that I can talk about. And I love that photo. As I said, there are so many different photos that we could pull up from yesterday. That one there is fantastic. Of course, he didn't have his best game, but he got taken off at half time. Ten Hag switched it up. Oh, man. There's so many. Oh, my God. Wait, one sec. We've got Claus and Fatty, both of you as well. Gifting 5. Thank you. Legendary. Legendary, this community, man. But Lee, genuinely, I thought that there was the foul on Rashford. It was a blatant foul. Come on, man. It was a blatant foul. I think it was Busquets that tripped him up after about 2 minutes. It was one where Shaw burst through. He was on the edge of the box. Odd. Really odd decision. Sam, you're saying consistency with refs are annoying. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty awful. Now, when it comes to, as I said, the subs, I think that's where I want to focus for a little bit in this show and how they changed the game. Ten Hag said our game plan was Antony and Garnacho. You get over the wide areas with speed, with runs behind, with dribbles, you get belief. They are both so brave and fear no one. Antony, let's have a conversation about him. Vicky, you'll very much like the video that I'm going to show you all in a couple of minutes. That's what I will say. But Antony yesterday, I said this on Twitter last night, right? I said Martinez and Antony were 2 players who the media tried to write off as United players before they'd even kicked the ball. Martinez is too short. He can't play in the Premier League. Antony, he's not worth 80 million. Dismissed. No, Antony, he tries his roulette in the game. Oh, he's a wonder. What's he showboating for? Anger. And look at that last night. That finish from Antony was absolutely top draw. He could have, and he would have been forgiven in that situation for just doing the Rashford finish. Laces, foot down, put your foot through it. He didn't. Ball bounced to him. He had the awareness to kind of finesse a finish into it. Was a cultured finish. It was a wonderful finish. And his first game back after being out for a few games. 6 goals he scored this season. Scored against Arsenal on his debut. First year in the Premier League. I don't care what anyone says. I know, and he knows full well, that there is more. His development curve, he's still very close to the bottom of it. There is so much more to come from Antony. So much more. And the directness of Garnacho, it makes such a difference. Both of them whipping out the slim, shady blonde looks. It was just, mate, it was fantastic. And for Antony, I was so pleased for him to get that after the stick and the criticism that he has got. And this is what Ten Hag said after the game. He said, I know that Antony can do that. He's brave. He's fearless. What he brought second half is what we needed. Running behind, dribbles, and of course his goal. He is brave and he will go for it. He brings so much to this team. And look at what Van Persie said after. The finish is really special. Most players go for power because it's the easy choice. He had the picture. It's exactly what I was saying there. It's a real compliment to Antony in that situation. Didn't get absorbed into the occasion or the atmosphere or the opportunity. He just tucked it in the corner. And last night was a night for the Brazilians, wasn't it? Fred. again, I feel like I've had to defend Fred because there have been plenty of occasions. Leicester in the first half. Where was it? I mean, there are so many occasions this season where you're watching Fred going, "What are you doing?" And then you watch games like this with Fred, and you go, "Wow, that second half performance from Fred." Well, my God, it's obviously Park Ji-sung and we Park 3-Lung, what we used to call him, just the energy that Park used to have, the relentlessness. That's what Fred was. Erik Ten Hag called him a mosquito, didn't he? He was everywhere. He was a pest. That's what Neil called him on the podcast. A pest with a press. A pesty press. Oh, no, I'm getting confused now. Either way, he was amazing, man. Who was your man of the match? Was it Fred? Was it Antony for how he played when he came on? Was it Casemiro or Martinez? Type your names in the comments now. Maybe we could have a poll on that. In fact, sorry, let's just go for a poll. We got it. Oh, man, look at that. Rotham, you've gifted 10 memberships as well. Man, honestly, from the bottom of his heart. Vicky, you're saying happy birthday to Antony. Happy birthday indeed. Yesterday was Casemiro's birthday. Let me have a look. Your man of the match. I don't know who to put down as a 4 options, if I'm honest. Again, as a compliment to the game. I'm going to go for Fred. I'm going to go for Antony because of how he changed the game when he came on. I'm going to go for Martinez. Oh, do I go for Martinez or Varane? Do I go for Casemiro? I think I've got to go for Varane as well. I'm just going to go for those 4. And I think there are plenty of others that I could put inside this. I'm going to go for those. They're the 4 options. Now, you might disagree with that because I haven't put the one down that you think. I'll put Fred, Antony, Martinez, and Varane. You can let me know what you think, all right? But, look, there's a video I want to pull up now, right? How good is this video? And this really sums up just the togetherness of this United team right now. Man, what a video that is. Varane loves doing that. And Vicky, that one's for you. That one's for you. There's a super chat there from Seven Samurai saying, I'm personally annoyed with people shouting that Weghorst got exposed. The man does exactly what the manager expects of him. And that is why Weghorst has played more minutes than Martial this season. Manchester United now have won 14 out of 16 since Ronaldo left. Manchester United have... Weghorst is not the best striker in the world, and no one is suggesting that he is. Are we working as a team right now with him in? You're absolutely damn right we are. And that's why he's in there. That's why he's doing a job. And he's basically a placeholder until the summer, until we get that big number 9. And he knows that. And when we sign him, Weghorst might not be given a new deal. But it strikes me that I think he'll be given a 1-year deal and he'll stay at Manchester United as maybe the 3rd choice striker. And he'll be more than happy with that. And he will give everything when he comes off the bench. Garnacho, did you see Garnacho's celebration last night? Whipping out the Pedri. Oh, Barcelona, you got shagged. Couldn't happen to a nicer team. Couldn't happen to a nicer team. But, mate, as I said, there's so many photos. There's so many people we can talk about. So many players that we can speak about. And I think there's Fatty, thank you very much. You said, I want to thank you for this community. I'm going through a lot. But, mate, you're welcome, man. And I'll tell you what, actually, can I quickly take 2 seconds out to say this? I've received a couple of emails over these last couple of days, and I won't name any names, and I won't tell you what was inside these emails, but they epitomize why I love doing what I'm doing. It's about how people have seen this community, become part of this community, and how it's helped them get from place A to place B. And look, anybody who's followed the channel for long enough know that, what was it? I don't know when it was now. A year or 2 years ago, I went through a bit of a rough period myself. Disappeared to Africa for 3 months. But not everybody can come through it in the way that I have. And I hope that I can inspire others to do that. And if I can do it in such a public forum, I think you can do it yourself. And yeah, these emails, man, they're amazing. And that's why this community means so much to me. And I think that's why the community is what it is. So big up to every single one of you, those who have reached out. I'll also shout out to Andy. As it's your 60th this week, and I did remember this. Andy's doing some cracking artwork for some members behind the scenes. We're working on something. So big up. Good luck to you this weekend, my friend. Good luck on your birthday. Is that what you say? Well, I just did. But anyway, have a happy birthday. I think it's your 60th. Andrew saying, Sam, the quad is on. Say it quietly. Say it quietly. But the quad is indeed on. And with this man in the middle, who's going to dismiss United? Casemiro yesterday, again, being Casemiro. End of the first half, David De Gea had a brain fart. And just, I don't know what that pass was. And Casemiro came up with the absolute, just a ridiculous tackle. Full on, body on the line, blocked it once, blocked it twice, pulled David De Gea out of the hole that he absolutely got himself into there. Yesterday, we saw the absolute best and the worst of De Gea, didn't we? The best being that fantastic fingertip save, and the worst being that shakiness with distribution out from the back under a team that presses. And it is a problem, whether you want to admit it or not. It is a problem. But De Gea, shot stopping. Oh, man, he was so unlucky not to save that penalty. So unlucky. But Casemiro yesterday, it was his birthday. He said, I had a wonderful birthday. Thanks to my family and thanks to Old Trafford. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. And somebody mentioned this earlier, but this really was one of the funniest things I've seen. You know, when Bruno accidentally kicked the ball straight into the gut of Frankie de Jong, and everybody gets into a scrap. Bruno, Casemiro is basically looking at Erik going, no, I'm not doing anything. Don't worry. I'm not getting involved in this. I've learned my lesson. That's what life's all about. Make a mistake. Don't make the same mistake twice. It just absolutely cracked me up. You can see Casemiro at the bottom of the photo, just like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not getting involved. But yeah, did Bruno accidentally kick the ball? Did he, sod? He knew exactly what he was doing. Frankie de Jong. Did you enjoy Old Trafford? Well, you could have enjoyed it a bit more. But at least you're at Barcelona. I mean, they are going to win the league this year, so I suppose that's not too bad. Once bitten, twice shy, says Brian. Absolutely. Tony Hanna, you've just joined us. Remember, let me know where you're watching from, dude. But yeah, that absolutely cracked me up. Somebody mentioned that earlier in the show. Oh, look at this. Another just so many good photos from that game yesterday. Who are you choosing as your man of the match? Let me see what you're saying down here. 1,000 votes in 5 minutes. I love this community, man. 46% of you are going for Fred. 25% are going for Martinez. And 23% are going for Varane. And if I remember correctly, the next photo, yes, look at that. It is Varane. And I'll be honest, I think my appreciation of Varane this season has kind of gone on. I've not really spoken about him that much. I don't know if you're the same, but I think I've been focusing on, I don't know, I focused on Martinez and how incredible he's been. I focused on Casemiro and how amazing he's been. But Varane yesterday, I'm not just talking about that save on the line in the last minute. Just Varane, like, so, remember when that time when Varane was on the edge of the Barca box? Just burst through out. I was like, Varane, what are you doing? Where's this come from? We've gone from a team where you'd struggle to name a captain to a team where you'd also struggle to name a captain, but for completely the opposite reason. Last season, you wouldn't have chosen a player. This season, it's hard to choose that player. Varane really, I'm so glad that he retired from international football, because we now have just got this could be Varane. Let's just hope that because he does not play in international football, he can get breaks and his body's going to be able to recover. If he can maintain his fitness now for the next 3 years, we are going to witness something really special. He's a top level player. He's been he's been in 2 World Cup finals and he's won 4 or 5 Champions Leagues. He's been there is not many better people in this team that can help with that experience, that confidence that you need to take into those big games. And his stats yesterday absolutely show that. Look at that. Won all of his duels, 43 touches, completed 30 passes, 1 possession 9 times, 3 clearances, 2 into. Just everyone calls him Rolls Royce down there, and he is. He's absolutely Rolls Royce, and he's just. I think Varane now is the Varane that we'd always wanted to see. And he's right there. And he's just as part of this team. Luke Shaw yesterday. How good was Luke Shaw? So good. That back heel. Bruno. How good was he? Ish. Kind of saw that. No, Bruno was fantastic. But Bruno is just like Bruno is the embodiment of this new team, I think. He kind of always has been ever since he came in that January and sort of helped transform us in that period. I think Ten Hag has said that he sees a lot of his own personality in Bruno Fernandes. And you can see that as well. Guy is full tilt. Apparently the draw's at 12, not 11. But yeah, mate, the draw, I'm going to be speaking about potential opponents. We're going to be speaking about the cup final. There are so many things that we can still speak about. And I want to take this little moment in time to just point the finger at Barcelona and have a little giggle. It's time to conquer the theatre of dreams, they said on Twitter. And this is why you don't say stuff like that, right? This is why you don't say stuff like that. Because things like this can happen. Things like this can happen. I like that meme. That meme made me laugh, so I pulled it up. Let me see what you're saying down there. Matt, you're saying, I think Osimhen will fit well into this team. I mean, he absolutely would. Harry Kane, there's definitely an argument for Harry Kane as well. Let's be completely honest, right? We don't need to have this conversation yet. Let's focus on what we've got coming up. We've got a cup final coming up in 3 days. We're going to have a little bit of a preview now. You can let me know in the comments, actually, right? What video would you prefer me to do today? Because I'm going to do a video on this total transformation of where we were to where we are now under Erik Ten Hag. And I've also got the Wembley, the cup final preview and starting 11 show. Which one would you rather went out today? The starting 11 or the transformation? Because I'll put them out on the next 2 days. I'm kind of thinking it's the starting 11 for the final. It's the cup final, man. It's the cup final. But yeah, it is map day as well. Map's coming up later on. Don't worry about that. Vartinu. Is that a thing? Martinez, mate, their partnership is absolutely wild. It really, really is. I have seen that, and they deserve to get relegated for that song. Absolutely deserve to get relegated. That guy from Portugal. Something tells me that Xavi knows who Bruno Fernandes is now. Just saying. I'm just saying. Let me pull up some. Where, man, there's so many good photos. What about that one? That's Varane. What about this one? Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Meme of the season, man. There's going to be plenty of them as well. Let me see what video you prefer to see. You prefer to see cup final video. Got to be cup final. Cup final build up. Transformation. Most of you want to see the cup final. I'll tell you what. I'll listen to you. I'll get the cup final video out today and tomorrow morning. I'll have my video on Ten Hag and this. Honestly, I can't overstate this enough. Really. I don't think you can let me know in the comments if there are any. I don't have a full memory of all of football history, but has there ever been a transformation of this magnitude at a club the size of United in such a short space of time? Last season was quite literally, I think, our worst ever season in the Premier League. We were at an all-time low, it felt, as a club. On the pitch, off the pitch as well, really. To where we are now in 7 months. Mad. Tim Arnold, you're saying, did you see Maguire's face at the end? I did see Maguire's face. And look, of course he's not going to be happy. He's sitting on the bench. Maguire will not have, in my opinion, a long-term future at the club. Maguire will, in my opinion, be sold in the summer. And I think he'll go on to be a pretty good defender in the Premier League for somebody else. Just not for Manchester United. Did you see Lewandowski flying after Martinez yesterday? Where is it? Where's that photo? That one there? Yeah. Martinez, man. Martinez. As I said, let me go down here and see what you're saying in the poll for the man of the match. We've got, oh man, look at that. Tony, thank you very much, dude. You've gifted 5 memberships. Don. All of you, just all of you, utter legends. Utter legends. 1,500 votes. Look at that. 46% are giving it. Let me try and get the photo. Is it that one there? Nope, that's Vokhorst. Well, that one there. Oh, that's Antony. That one there. There he is. 46% of you are going for Fred. And yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little bit biased towards Martinez. Yeah, I'll admit that. But Fred. I think the point I'm going to make here is stop. As a fan, don't stop dismissing players off the back of 45 minutes or the back of even 90 minutes. Veghorst, there's going to be people go, oh, just kick him out, boot him out of the team because he played poor yesterday. What, and overlook the fact that he's been pretty instrumental in the 2 games we had previous to that in the number 10 role. Fred, first half, dismiss him. I'd boot him out of the team, didn't deserve it. And then he does that in the second half. He was poor in that first half. But he was pretty much the catalyst for that second half, which changed everything. My point here is that I think it's kind of a habit of fans. Speaking absolutes, speaking certains, immediately. Be as early as you can with an assessment of a player. Antony, it's not good enough. Dismiss him. Things take time. Football takes time. What Ten Hag is building is taking time. And it's happening so much quicker than anybody could have imagined. Possibly could have imagined. After that Brentford game, if you had told anybody we would be in this position, still in 4 competitions, playing every 3 days, I don't get how we're doing it. I really, really don't. And it's all down to Erik Ten Hag. Now, a quick question to all of you. We can choose this as a community. Who do you want to get in the round of 16? These are the potential ties for Manchester United. And the draw is happening, I think, in about the next hour, I think. Fenerbahce, Ferencváros, who play in Budapest, which is where the final is, actually. Feyenoord, we've got Freiburg, we've got Real Betis, Real Sociedad, and Union Saint-Gilloise. Who do you want to get? I don't want to get Real Sociedad. They can get in the bin. Last thing I want is Real Sociedad. Who would I want? Probably Saint-Gilloise. Probably. I like Belgium. I really like Belgium. Man, they do good beer. Freiburg, I don't really fancy a trip to Turkey. Feyenoord, yeah, a bit nonplussed on that. Anyone except Sociedad, says Jibak. Union Saint-Gilloise. Real Betis, says Richard. You can, look, there's a comment there from Onfield saying it's not going to be an easy team. We've just knocked out Barcelona. Say no more. Say no more. Sociedad for revenge down there. Feyenoord. A couple of you saying Feyenoord. Freiburg, balance between short travel and good quality. I don't care, says Troy. We're beating them all. Gonna do it anyway. A couple of you saying Freiburg. I would say the most I can see down here. Oh, it's tight. It's between Freiburg and it's between Feyenoord. I think the majority of you, by the looks of things, are actually saying Feyenoord. Oh, look at that. It's tight. Most people down there agreeing with me. Going for a Saint-Gilloise. Matt, you're saying Real Betis. Either way, Manchester United have got to be confident. Right? We've got to be confident going forward. We've just beaten Barcelona. And that's the confidence we're taking into the final. Now, what I will say here, man, there's still plenty we're talking about here on the show. We're going to speak about the Cup Final preview, and it's Map Day, so I'm going to bring that up. All of you, if there's plenty of you who are new here on United People's TV, and I don't say this enough, but please, if you would, subscribe to the channel, become part of the community, and drop a like on the video. It makes such a big difference, and I'd love to have you on board because this community, this team is going places this year. Nah, man, I want to save that trip. I'm definitely going to Budapest for that bad boy. But yeah, all the positives of yesterday, and there are so many, I've now got to focus on what I would consider the biggest negative of that. I'm not sure if you've seen this, and that's Marcus Rashford on Instagram, of course, with the sick or injured emoji, walking off with one boot in hand. Now, we have to hope. We have to hope this is nothing more than a precaution. But I have to be honest, Rashford looked jaded, faded when he was taken off. I think Rashford would play in the final if he was at 70% anyway. Hell, last season he played with a broken back. He had a stress factor in his back the whole season. He still played. He absolutely will play in that final, in my opinion, unless it's a bigger injury there than we know. But that when you're playing every 3 days and you're playing at the level of the pace that United play at, injuries are guaranteed, I would say. And that's been probably one of the biggest and most pleasant surprises of how we've managed to navigate this period and since the World Cup, all these games, and still these players they seem to be every single 3 days are capable and physically capable enough to keep that level up. Fingers crossed. It's nothing more than it's just a little bit of fatigue and maybe a couple of days, and he'll be right as rain for Sunday. It's a danger, but I suppose the good thing is after that cup final, he's not playing against West Ham in the FA Cup. Leave him on the bench. Leave him out of the squad. In fact, leave him out of the squad. You probably wouldn't leave him out of the squad. Leave him on the bench, and then give him a full week before Anfield. Anfield next weekend, ladies and gents. Anfield. The way that Liverpool are playing right now and the way that United are playing, I'm letting myself dream of some sort of revenge from last season. Some sort of revenge. Not going to think that far ahead, though, because we've got this on Sunday. And that's you can't look more than like 4 days ahead as a United fan. And Erik Ten Hag can't do it either. Because I get he would have loved to have had one eye on the final. Instead, we had that game against Barcelona on Thursday. But now we've got a clear road ahead to Sunday. And what a big game that. How big do you think this game is? How big do you think this game is for Sunday? For Erik Ten Hag, for Manchester United, for where we are. I asked Neil this on the podcast. And he says it's pretty much everything. It's vital right now to where we are, to where we want to be. Trophies, as Ten Hag said, like we've got all the credit in the bank. It doesn't really matter. It's about trophies. It's about titles. And that's what the League Cup, that's not going to be the defining trophy that proves United really are back. But I tell you what, if that game against Barcelona was unnecessary, we shouldn't have had that extra double time. But we had it, and we knocked the best team in the tournament out. And we beat them probably convincingly for the overwhelming majority of both legs, tactically and physically. And we scored more goals. That's how it works. And now we go into this cup final. And the energy and the momentum in this team is huge. So Fergie said that first cup is the hardest to win. Was it Mark Robbins? You remember when Fergie, they said that was it the FA Cup win? Or was it the League Cup? That cup win that helped that Fergie's first trophy. I think it was Mark. Was it away at Forest? I can't remember where it was. But it's always considered, as Alex says down there, maybe the first trophy is the most important. Paul, you're agreeing there. Nathan, you're saying it's a big for the team. It's a reward for the effort. Did Bruno? What's going on down here? Bangkok Cup done. Boom, in the bag. Carabao Cup next. If we win the League Cup and hold the trophy, I'll show the players what winning is like. We need to win it. Josh, you're saying the trophy is what allows us to step back up to the big table in English football. Without them, you're just like everyone else. Hard to deny when you're wearing a medal, and it really is. I think I'm downplaying it. It was there. Was it away to Forest in the FA Cup? Man, my memory is actually better than I think it is. It's just knowledge. Like there's little nest eggs in there somewhere. I think I'm downplaying it, but I don't think I can. This cup final is everything for where we are, for where we have been, has built to this point. We're at this I would probably go as far as to say this is the crescendo of the season. Because my gut instinct is that United we're going to be in with a sniff of the Premier League pretty much the whole way to the end of the season, and it's going to stay there. It's just we're going to be sniffing. I think we'll finish third, and I think that'll be a fantastic season in the Premier League, given expectations. Europa League, yeah, man, we could be winning the Europa League as well. But it feels like this, the crescendo, where Newcastle are and where they want to be, where United are and where we want to be. This cup final is it's almost the peak of our season, which is a strange thing to say because I know we're in 4 competitions and it's the League Cup. But in terms of the springboard of it, what it means to see United and these players in Ten Hag with a trophy above their head, it's something we've not seen for 6 years. And that's the diet that we used to feast on. And yeah, trophies are everything, man. Top 4, what does that get you? Gets you Champions League football, but ultimately gets you sweet FA. Titles and trophies are what you get remembered for, not top 4 finishes. And I'm nervous for it. What's your prediction for the game? You feeling confident? Let me know whether you think United will win in the comments below. Yeah, look, Mark Robins, big up to Mark Robins. Fergie at that point was really struggling. But yeah, the team he overtook in the 80s was a very, very different culture back in those days. A lot of alcohol. United was not. He made the modern day version of United that we now want to see again. And that it feels like we're closer to it with Erik Ten Hag than we've ever been since Fergie. And to say that after 7 months is just, it's mad. It's mad. Yeah, the top. Oh yeah, it helps. I know it helps. Of course it does. But it's not. It should never be the measure of success for United. It's the minimum. Titles are where it's just that we didn't. I think all of us at the start of the season, realistic fans were saying, if we finish top 4 and can somehow get a cup, that's an amazing season. Right now, we are flying in the Premier League. We're looking. I don't know how many points clear we are inside the top 4, but we're looking good. We've given ourselves a cushion. We're in the Europa League knockouts now, last 16. We've beaten Barcelona. We're in the cup final of the Carabao Cup. We're in the 5th round of the FA Cup, and Arsenal have been knocked out by City. It's just better than we could ever imagine, man. Better than we could ever have imagined. A couple of questions there. Do I think United need another midfielder, says Thomas? I absolutely do. I think we need 2 midfielders. Connor just ran through that. We don't know, but I'm a little bit of concern. I'm a little bit concerned. Let me see what your predictions are. Steve Boyd, you're going for a 3-1 win. 2-0 says Luke. 3-1 says Debbie. 5-0. Can you imagine a 5-0 in a cup final? My word. 2-0 says Alex King. I mean, all of you are confident here. And I've got to be honest. How can he not be confident about this team? Honestly. Newcastle have not. They've lost their best player in Nick Pope. He's been the stalwart of their defense. How can you not be confident that United are going to win? Now, of course, that's a dangerous point. Because that's when confidence becomes cockiness. Cockiness becomes arrogance, and arrogance can affect how you play a game when you underestimate your opponents. That's up to Ten Hag to manage that expectation. To have these players having that sort of confidence, but to the level where it doesn't become arrogance and complacency creeps in. That is a fine line. But that's why the best managers in the world are the best managers in the world, because they can find that perfect balance between having confidence in yourself and making sure that you don't underestimate your opponent. United Don saying, Sam, did you get the starting lineup right last night? I got 10, I think. I got 10 out of 11. I put did I put Delo in? I don't know. Did I put Delo in? Let's have a look. I might have put Delo in. Did I get the full 11? Let me have a look. I think no, I got Sabitzer instead of Fred. Boo. No, I'm not booing Fred. I'm just booing me. I got 10 out of 11. And I got the 2-1 prediction spot on. Come on. I'll take that. That's not too bad, is it? 10 out of 11 on the starting 11. And 2-1 on the prediction. I will take that. Very much I will take that. But look, I'm going to wrap up quickly. But before I do, you know what day of the week it is, ladies and gents. It is Friday. It is map day, which means, of course, last week we had a little bit of a break because it was the break it made. Last Friday, we were talking about the bids going in from the Qatari bids and the Ineos bids. This week, we're just talking about beating Barcelona at Old Trafford and the cup final on Sunday. Man, honestly, like, you need a seatbelt to support United right now. It's just, we're going a million miles an hour in all directions, and it's so good. But let me know where you're watching from, right? You need to let me know the country and the town, all right? So big up to you. It's a comment there saying, Charles, you're at school. Mate, put the phone down. Concentrate on your education. I don't want to be responsible for that. Fred was a huge call over Sabitzer. Maybe he starts on Sunday too. Well, you can check out my start 11. It's going to go out at lunchtime today. Let me pull a few of you up onto the map, man. I know you will love this. We've got Rodney watching from Jonesboro in Arkansas. That's cool. Let me get you on the map, sir. Welcome aboard. Jones. Borough in Arkansas. Hell yeah. On you go, sir. Welcome aboard. Oh, look at that. What's happened to the map there? The map's looking a bit squiffy. Let me refresh that. Map's looking a bit odd. There we go. Map's looking better now. Let's see what we've got. We've got Fatty watching from Tidworth in Salisbury. I don't think that's on the map. On you go. Tidworth in South Salisbury. Tidworth. Oh, there it is. I saw it. Tidworth Road in Salisbury. Yes, come on. Let's get a couple more on here. Why not? Casper, I think we've got you on the map already, do we? I think we do, but we don't have many South Americans fans on here. So let's get Montevideo in. Uruguay. I've never visited South America. I'd absolutely love to. I really, really would. And let's get one more up on here. Let me see where you're watching from. Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the week, seeing where all of you around the world are watching this show. It's so good. Olivia, let's get you on the map. Barbados. I hope you've managed to sort your membership issues out. I do remember that email. Barbados Barbados. Again, I've not been there. Man, there's so many places I want to travel around the world. Seriously. No offense to England and all that. But look, what a show. That's Paul Scholes. What a manager. What a team. We're heading in the right direction with this man in charge. And we're lucky to have him. And I tell you what, remember this. We are just getting started. It's not even the end of season 1. We haven't even had a cup final yet. That's on Sunday. I'm going. All the guys from the podcast are going. I think there's going to be about 20, 30 of us. It's going to be a special day. I cannot wait. I'm going to get my match reaction for that out as soon as I can. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to do it, but I'll get my match reaction out as soon as I can after the game. Win, lose, or draw. Fingers crossed we win. We're also going to be doing a podcast of the day that's going to be going out. So make sure you follow us there. But from the bottom of my heart, I'll say here, in the last live show this week, thank you all for making this community what it is. It's incredible. The generosity is unreal. I'm going to be bringing on a social media manager because you've allowed me and helped me to do that. And I'm also going to bring on, I think, a community manager because I want to do so much more for this community. It's amazing. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you, Erik Ten Hag. Man, what a time. Enjoy yourself. United really are back heading towards where we want to head. We've not been able to say that for a long old time. Have a cracking weekend, everyone. And big up Erik Ten Hag.